I was selling $1 million houses in Philadelphia, and I was wearing mirrored sunglasses because I didn't want my clients to see my eyes.
Yeah.
And I was wearing these mirrored sunglasses after the sun went down. Okay? I was wearing them, and I was like, because I just don't want you. And I would say to people, like, well, I'm having problems with my eyes. I have like blood vessels in my eyes that are bothering me. Any type of light is hurting my eyes.
Yeah.
But I was high. It was just so bad. I'd be awake for 4 or 5 days, you know, and like limping, you know, with people. Like my body was so sore, but I was telling them, oh, I fell off my bike.
Yeah,
you know, I had,
doing wholesome things.
All kinds of injuries. It was always an injury. Yeah.
I'm Mr. Wholesome. Yeah.
In my head, the denial was so thick. I have a job, I have a car, I have a girlfriend. I'm doing okay. Because in my head I had this misconception of what it meant to be an addict. An addict is someone who doesn't have a home, who's shoving needles up their arm. I have a home, I have a job, I have a car. I'm not a freaking addict. I honestly believe that I was doing okay, even though I would go home and feel empty inside every single night. But on the outside, I was doing amazingly. That's why it took me so long to find recovery, because I bought into that belief for so many years. I became so good at lying to myself, and not only lying to myself, believing my own lies. Only once I met with a sponsor and he started chatting to me, were we able to start cutting through the lies and the denial, and I could see my life for what it actually was. And it was an empty shell of a life, because my life just became going to work, coming home, using drugs. That was my entire life in a nutshell.
I guess for me it was like I always felt like I was coping, that I was always able to put on a smile and appear to be someone who had it together. I wore that mask for years, but what ultimately happened I learned now about addiction is that I had no spirit, and that's what it came down to. I was alone in a room with nobody around me and no light coming through the window, because there was no light in my life. I didn't feel like I was a part of life.
Yeah.
That's where it takes you to. That's where it takes you to. You don't feel alive. You don't feel alive. That's what addiction robs you of. You do not feel alive. You are living, but there's nothing going on.
For many years, I bought into the belief that I was doing okay because I had all these exterior things. But back at the ranch, that couldn't be further from the truth.
There's no stereotype of an addict. And what gave me hope was meeting people that had the same problem I did, and their lives, in whatever form, got them to a place of hitting a bottom where they felt hopeless. And that hopelessness affects the people around you. And for me, I mean, I couldn't stand that feeling anymore. What I did get hope from were the people that I met that were recovering. And these were people like from prostitutes who sold their bodies and did heroin on the streets, to becoming like successful, educated, you know, going back to college, completely changing their lives dramatically. Because it really is about like getting your life together and then helping somebody else, you know, and caring. You know, you start to care. And when you start to care, you want to help other people around you, you know, and the feelings that you get back and some, you know, are some feelings I never even was in touch with until I got clean.
What I've realized about addiction is a disease, and just like any other disease, like cancer, for example, it doesn't only go for white people or black people. It can target female, males, kids, older people. It doesn't matter, and addiction is exactly the same. But just like most diseases, there is a medicine that you can take, and the medicine is like treatments, your meetings, and those type of things. And if I don't take my medicine, I start to get ill again, and that's been my experience.
Like, I'm 48 years old and I came to South Africa because I have family here, and I met them for the first time last year.
Fantastic.
And then going to school and, you know, furthering my education. I never ever dreamed that a few years ago, that I would ever do anything like go back to school.